Welcome to the Crochet Crowd. In today's video, we have 4 concepts for you. We have showing it to you in the round and also back and forth. This is a half double crochet with texture. And so you can see when you go round and around, it will look like this. But this is just one way to do it because you can also do it so it looks like this. In here, it's flat. And what you'll notice is that you can see the concept that is done the same way that this is here. It's just going back and forth, but you can also make it more dense, just like your host today. And you can see that this is a double-sided pattern. You should be aware that you can't really mix these 2 stitches together. You're either going to do it this way or this way. See how it's coming in like this? This one has more contraction, and we're going to show you this. We're going to be using video chapters. If you'd like to go to the video description or pinned comment, you can just fast forward to the concept that you're going to want to do. So I'm using a continuous round with this concept here, and I'm going to start with this, and then I'll show you back and forth. If you're starting a brand new row, all you just need to do is just start off with a half double crochet. Okay, so then you can just do that. Then the remaining of the stitches in the round, we'll just be using this vertical bar right here, just going on in, and then you're going to advance to the next stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. To do the next one, then going forward, it's always this vertical one right here, just this one, slide it behind it, coming into the next stitch, pull through all 3. And this is creating the lean. So it's just this one vertical, next stitch, and pull through. Next stitch, sorry, the next vertical, the next stitch, pull through, and pull through like that. So you can see that the first one I started with, I didn't do that, so you can clearly see that. But if you're working in a round circle like I am with no slip stitching, what happens with this concept is that it just naturally goes and follows the work on its own without any slip stitching. If you'd like to make it more dense, I'm going to show you how to do that next. Say you want this to be more dense, very much like that other sample. What we can do, instead of just going into the same vertical, we can go into the last 2. So let's just start a brand new one as if we're starting a new round. So we're just going to start with a half double crochet. So you chain 1 half double crochet in the first. So instead of going into just the 1 vertical, you're going to go into 2. This has more contraction, so you're going to notice it's going to squeeze in more, but it's actually going to thicken up your work more than what this is. So you're just going to slip your hook in behind the 2 verticals and then go to your next stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through everything. And what this is doing is it's having the 2 layers coming out instead of just 1. So to do the next stitch, see the 2 vertical here, slide in, next stitch, pull through. I'd give it a bit of slack if I were you. And you're going to start seeing this really develop in a few seconds. So the 2, the next stitch, pull through, and pull through. So 2, in, pull through all of it. See how the difference looks? And so you can see the difference from going from this to this. It's a lot more dense. Before I show you too much further, I want you to verify and you go through the proper stitch altogether. So I just actually did a few more and then I realized there was a hole in my work. And so you want to stay towards the top of the stitch only. And I accidentally went too deep and I grabbed, see there's another strand right there. I went there, and what that does is it creates a hole and it misaligns the verticals. Okay, so just make sure that you're always hitting the right area. Okay, so don't go too deep. You're going to stay towards the top. So the 2s in, pull through. So you can see the difference that it does with this concept versus just grabbing the 1, and it's actually much thicker as well. So depending on your yarn usage, you're going to want it to decide what is going to work for you. So this is a neat concept, and I'm going to go and take you to the flat sample, and we're going to start from scratch and be able to show you how to do that one as well. In the flat sample, we have the 1 just grabbing the vertical, just 1 vertical, and then we have it grabbing 2. So you'll notice that it looks weird like this is not a camera angle. This is the contraction of one versus the other. You're not going to be able to use these together, and it also appears on the other side. So it's a really good double-sided pattern if you'd like to try this one. Let's begin to do some stitch work, and I will show you what to do. There is no stitch multiples for this. You can chain as many as you need to, and just be aware that this one will contract. So if you are making a bedspread or a throw, it will contract on the first few rows. So let's create a slip knot and begin your first chain. I'm not going to do too many, it's just a swatch today. So I'm going to just chain 15. It doesn't matter the number. There's no stitch multiples. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So notice the length of this chain. I'm just going to grab something and you can compare it to. Okay, it's the length of this hook. Watch what happens when we do our first and 2 rows compared to this hook. I'll be right back. So what we're going to do is that we're going to start off our very first one, second chain from the hook. I prefer that when it comes to half double crochet. And so what we want to do is half double crochet second from the hook. So wrap the hook and skip the first one and go to the back hump of the second. Yarn over it, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet. So I'm going to show you the first concept first, and this is just using 1 vertical bar. So we're just going to use the one closest to where this yarn is coming out. So slide in behind there, and then come into your next back loop of your chain. Yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 3. And so we're immediately starting this concept. So the vertical closest to where the yarn is coming out of the middle, and then the next. The one closest to the middle, next back, okay, the vertical, and then the next. This is almost like the star stitch in some ways, and so you can see immediately it's starting to lean. Okay, so go all the way to the end of the row, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. I'm going to come into my last chain, and that's where I'm going to stop. So I don't want to half double crochet again into that last one because we've already dealt with it. So even though the first stitch is always just a regular half double crochet, the last one finishes in the concept that I'm showing you. So if you want to take a count of your stitches and write it down so that you remember, just in case you lose your way, that might be helpful for you. So you can see that, let's grab that hook back. See the difference? So it contracts on its own. And that's just the 1 vertical. That's not even considering the 2. So you can see that you'll have to make your chain longer if you want to maintain a certain size. We're going to begin and turn our work for next row. When you're ready to turn, just turn your work. So the first one will always be a half double crochet into the first stitch. The way that I prefer it though is just chain 1 and then half double crochet right immediately to where that's coming out of. This is the only time you're using half double crochet from a regular point of view. See, and now that flattened that edge. So we're only going to use the 1 vertical plus the next stitch. So vertical into the next stitch, pull through, and I keep an eye on that tension. You don't want to be too tight with this stitch. So the vertical, it's almost a little bit like Tunisian, isn't it? Coming through, pull through. And what this is doing is it's making the angle in the other direction give it a herringbone look. Pretty cool, right? So vertical, next stitch. So I have been practicing a bit, so I might make it look easier than it is. But you can let me know in the comments. I'd like to know if you like this stitch or if you like this concept and whether I invest more time into this. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way to the end. Let me show you how to identify the last stitch. So I think in the right yarn, especially the chunky yarns, this might be a lot of fun. Okay, so my last stitch is right here. So I continue to go into the vertical, last stitch, and finish it. And that's where it's going to end. And then you're going to just turn your work and begin a new row. So you can see it kind of looks different up here. Don't worry about it. It's gonna work itself out. So you're gonna just chain one and half double crochet in there. So you see how it's kind of leaning away from me? I just gotta lean it backward towards my face so I can get that to look consistent. So just coming into the first stitch, you are going to half double crochet in the first, and then you're gonna start that concept again. So first vertical bar in, next stitch, pull through all three. So vertical and in, pull through. So in. So what are you not doing? You're not wrapping the hook before you go. So this is almost considered that wrapping of the hook. But you're finishing it like a regular half double crochet. And so you see the lean has happened, giving you a herringbone look. I think there's potential for this. Even for a scarf would be awesome. Again, you got to choose that right yarn that will make sense for this type of stitch. So what would you use this for? You can leave me a comment in the video to see what you think of this concept and what you would use it for. And make sure you come into the very last one. So if you don't see it, it's right here. So just continue to use that concept right to the very end. So I just went into a space. You don't want to do that. You want to go into the stitch itself to keep that edge looking condensed. That's it. And then you turn your work. And so you can see that it's happened here. And so when we go back across, it's going to happen again. So we just start again. So just chain one, half double crochet into the first, and then do your concept across. So the vertical, the next stitch, and so on. I'll be back at the end of the row just to recap, and then we're going to move on to the final concept of really making this condensed, and we'll start again a new swatch and show you that process. So coming in and doing this right to the very end. So on the bag, I actually tried doing a stitch sampler, and when I switched over to single crochet around, it actually made the single crochet look like it was ruffling out. So this has more contraction than a regular stitch, so adding this into a stitch sampler might be very difficult to do, if not impossible. So I would not actually even add a border to this, because if you single crochet across this, the single crochet is more spaced out than this stitch. And so if you're going to do that, it will cause it to ruffle. And honestly, based on the look, I probably wouldn't even use a border. So in the next part of this tutorial, we're going to go to the condensed look, which will be this concept right here. So let's begin again. We're going to start with a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 15 like I did before, and we'll have a marker to see how much it contracts. So we're going to chain 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. There's no stitch multiples on this particular example today, so that means that you can just chain as many as you need, but be very cautious. We're going to put our marker down. So look how long this is now compared to what it will be after we do the first pass across, and we're going to start that condensed look in a moment. For this one, you're going to want to start immediately with this look, or it's going to contract in a way that won't make sense, so the chain needs to pull itself together. So how I prefer to do this is that I prefer to use the back hump of the chain. And so you're going to go second chain from the hook, and you're immediately just going to half double crochet. Get the back hump only. This is the only time that you'll do a regular half double crochet is on the starting of every row. So in the last part of this tutorial, we were using the one vertical right here. We're going to use both this time. So you just pull up a little bit extra so you can get to it, and just slip in behind the two verticals this time. And then go into your next chain. Yarn over, pull through. You'll have 4 loops on the hook, you're going to pull through all 4. And what this is going to have now is the 2 of these will now lean over, making it more condensed. To keep moving along, you're always going to go behind the 2 verticals. So you're going straight into the center of that stitch. Then you are going to go into your next available chain or stitch. Pull through. You're going to want to be a little bit relaxed with this stitch and then pull through all 4. So immediately it's the 2 verticals that are closest to where the yarn is coming out, going to the yarn ball. And then immediately to the next stitch. Pull through. And then pull through all 4. This stitch concept here is a lot more thicker, so it'll make your project more, well, I guess thicker. So pull through. And then pull through all of them. So always the 2 verticals. This is almost like Tunisian. I wouldn't say either is harder than the other. I just think the look lends itself to what it is. So the difference of half double crochet versus this is that we're not wrapping the hook before we go, but we're just going into the existing loops and pulling it through. So 2 verticals and a new one. And you're going to go right to the end of your chain doing this concept. So as I mentioned to you already, we only half double crochet regularly on the first of the row, but we just continue this concept right to the very last stitch. It feels wrong to do that, but you're going to want to take a stitch count and write it down, or unless you remember, just in case you lose your way. So examine it, make sure that you are getting the stitches right where you want them to be. So if you see one that doesn't look like it's lining up properly, something may be wrong. So 2 verticals, and this is the last chain coming in, and you're done. So you don't add anything extra to the end. It feels like you need to, but you don't. So you got to trust in yourself and look at the compression now versus it's half. So if you think about if you're going to chain something and you want it to a size of a sofa and you lay it down, just know that the chain will condense by half. So we're going to turn our work and begin row number 2. Let's turn our work and do row number 2. You're going to start off by just chaining 1 only. Because the compression has already happened, it shouldn't get any smaller than this. And you're going to half double crochet in the same first stitch that you see right below. So you need to get this half double crochet in, or you don't have the 2 verticals that you need in order to play with that. These 2 right there. So going into the 2 verticals, going in and advance to your next stitch. Pull through and pull through all 4 loops. You may want to practice with a swatch of this before you commit to doing a scarf or something big, so that you can get your tension into your hands and understand the stitch more. So always to the 2 verticals and the next stitch. So you can see that the nice lean here is a lot more denser than the original sample that we did because of the 2 verticals that you're grabbing instead of just 1. Now, your question that you may have, can you go into 3 verticals? I don't think so. I think you have to be able to go here because it can advance. But if you want to try that, you can. Okay, so you just go all the way across. And I can feel this is much thicker in my hands versus the other sample that we were trying. Okay. So you're going to work your way right to the very last stitch doing this concept. So you think you might be done, but you have one right here. And again, if you want to count your stitches, you can verify it's the same number as you had before. So you can see how it was here. And if we turn our work, you can see it's also happened on this side. So it appears to be missing here, but you have to trust the work in order to make this happen. Just start another row, just chain 1 and half double crochet into your very first one. Now you're going to go across just like you know. So just put 2 verticals and the next stitch. Okay, 2 verticals and the next stitch. I am fascinated with this stitch. I would love to put it in a sampler, but just the contraction just makes it impossible to mix with other things. Okay, and you just keep doing that all the way across. And so you can see that this is making it turn the other direction. Just like you see, so you're really starting to see it happening in real time, which I think is part of what makes this cool. So if this was hanging down like a scarf from you, it'd be really cool. So I don't know if I asked this, I think I did. What would you use this stitch for? Okay, so we're coming right to the end. So I have 2 stitches left. I have 1 and 2. And if ever in doubt, you can always count your stitches across, but you'll get used to looking at it. So I still have 1 more. See how it's kind of just sticking out into nowhere? So just go right into your last 2 verticals and go into your last stitch. Pull it out, and pull through everything. So your edging should be nice and flat. So you can see it looks pretty cool. So when you're starting a new row, chain 1, half double crochet in the first. Okay, and then your 2 verticals to begin the process. So 2 verticals and then the next empty stitch. So I would not put a border on something like this because of the contraction, as we talked about already. So I would just consider this done. So if I was doing a blanket in this concept, I would not add anything to it. I think in the right yarn, this is awesome. I would even consider maybe even a thicker hook like I'm showing here on camera today. This takes slightly more yarn than the original one that I showed you with just the vertical, and that's because it's thicker. So it's just using a little bit more yardage, but not enough to be too worried about it. Okay, and I still have 1 stitch. So just pull it out if you don't see it. Get that last one, and then you're good to go. So this would be how you do this dense version of that, and it's really, really neat. It is double-sided and it's incredible. That's it for today. Let me know how you did in the video, comments, and I'll be back another time. We'll see you.